Senator Dick Durbin watched the debate unfold during a planned stop in Rockford. He says the U.S. should thank Zelenskyy for his heroic stand against Russia. Durbin added former President Ronald Reagan and the late Senator John McCain must be rolling over in their graves at the thought of a U.S. president damaging America's image by siding with Russian and North Korean dictators.
After 3 years of this war, and the United States and its allies in NATO supporting Zelenskyy, we're at a very difficult point now. I can't define the relationship with Ukraine based on the new president and things he said.